8 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Wednesday morning. We've been looking forward to this interview because our next guest is a well-known celebrity. And before I introduce him to you, you probably already know that our guest is Kreskin, so I'll just tell you that. Unless, of course, you are Kreskin, then or have Kreskin seals. But I have a real quick story I want to tell you. In the 70s, I had a crush on a girl. And she had a boyfriend named Larry, same name as me, just for Mr. Kreskin's case. I don't know if you call him Mr. Kreskin. We'll find out in a second. But anyway, the Amazing Kreskin. But anyway, so she had a boyfriend named Larry. My name is Larry. I had a crush on her. I had no idea she had a boyfriend, so I called her up. There was no caller ID back in the 70s, right? Mm-hmm. So she picks up the phone and she goes, Larry. I go, whoa. Are you Kreskin? Like a dope, right? Me saying, oh, you can. Oh, I thought you were my boyfriend. Oh, I thought I was too. The Amazing Kreskin is on the phone. I was watching an interview yesterday in our office, Robin, and we heard him say in another interview that he actually was able to answer the phone that way.
Yes.
Before there was caller ID. I don't know what I need to tell you about him. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Rob? Larry, and is that Robin that's on with you now?
That's
right?
Robin. Yes.
Good morning.
Yes.
Hello,
Such
Robin.
an honor.
I'm looking at a picture of both of you here. We got off the internet, and I want to say, just hearing the intro that you went through right now, Robin, you are working with a character, aren't you, Robin?
Oh, yes, I am. Yes, I am. He's one of the best.
Robin, I'm sure that I got to tell you, Robin. If sometime I'm in the air, when I'm working in the area, and I think I'm traveling in Florida next month. If I'm in your area, I'll come on live on the air. But I promise the production people that I have to warn them that when I come on, I will not read Larry's thoughts live on the air.
Thank you.
So this girlfriend. This future gal said your first name on the phone, huh?
Yeah, but she wasn't referring to me. She was referring to another Larry, yeah. Yeah.
Another Larry, I see. By the way, you'll get a kick out of this, although it doesn't certainly start that way. But before people call you or wonder whatever happened with the car accident, it's true that I was in an accident 3 weeks ago. I am fine. I mean, my head did hit the the wheel, but the glasses didn't break, unfortunately. So the police decided there was no concussion. Although the people here in the office say, "Kreskin, how would anybody know the difference?" You can understand how people think of me.
Oh, no.
But anyway, let me tell you the story. This is crazy. 10 to 15 minutes from my house, I'm driving I had come back 4 o'clock in the morning from some trip, and the next day I had a meeting, and I'm driving.
How long ago?
Guy pulls out of a driveway. About 2.5 or 3 weeks ago.
Oh, just
guy
recently.
Pulls out of a Guy pulls out of a driveway. They figure out of his driveway onto this one-way road I'm on. They figured he was driving around 40 miles an hour. That's pretty fast pulling out of a driveway to get to that kind of speed. They said Kreskin, he was either on drugs or alcohol or what have you knows. Slams into the car next to me. The car turns, and people have asked me in interviews, how did I think of what to do? Well, like a war situation, I guess, you don't have time to think. You respond consciously. Right. So I see the car coming at me that the guy hit, turn my wheel to the left, go over the island, which fortunately wasn't concrete, to the other side where cars are coming at me the other way, Fortunately, they all stop. Everything stops for like an hour and a half. But and turns out I'm okay. The two guys, the one that was hit next to me and the original guy, were rushed to the hospital. So I got to tell you, I come home. True story, folks. Talk about your telephone call thing. I come home. My cell phone rings. It's a fellow that worked for me 10, 12 years ago. And he says, Kreskin, hello. And I said, let me tell you what just happened. I went into a long description. The first person I got to talk to. I said, why'd you call me? He said, on my cell phone, I just got a message, you call. Well, I think what happened was when I was hit, when I was talking with the police, I probably tried to dial the people I was calling, and here instead I dialed Atlanta. So I said, he said, well, I didn't know what happened to you. He told me the story. I said, is there something else you want to tell me? So help me God, this is true. He, dead silence. I said, what's going on? He says, Kreskin, I have no idea until I've talked to you now that this happened to you 2.5 hours ago. But when you radioed me 2.5 hours ago, sent the email, 20 minutes later, I was hit by a car in the same way.
Oh, wow.
Over an island and what have you.
Oh, wow.
Now, you can't tell me, nobody's going to tell me that was a coincidence. I mean, hundreds of people on my cell phone. Here, I press a button to Atlanta by mistake where he lives, and this happens. Talk about life having strange situations.
I know.
Folks?
I know. But you know,
my career has been. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Larry.
Well, that's okay. You said there were no coincidences, and I have a theory about this because they say the brain is 18 inches from the stomach, which is the same size as a large pizza. I think that is a coincidence.
Robin, can you hear me, Robin?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Robin, I want to tell you, Robin, my reading Larry's thoughts would be a major miracle. That's all I can tell you. Listen, I have traveled the world.
Right.
I have never heard the brain compared with a pizza situation.
Well,
and
it's an interesting coincidence, but I think it is a coincidence.
But sometime, and if you would let me, and I trust I would not abuse the confidentiality. Sometime, Larry, I'd love to meet your psychiatrist. I just like to get to know him personally, see how he thinks.
You got to take him on tour with you.
You say it would be a tour. I love. Hey, Robin said, Larry, that's a great line. You said, I'll take him on tour. But you know, the airline industry just figured out as of a few months ago that through my career that it's now I've flown in my career a little over 3 million miles, if you can imagine, over 3 million.
Wow.
So I'm on the road most.
Did you ever foresee that?
A year.
Were you able to see that?
For a year and a half ago, it was 2 million miles. But a year and a half ago in 1 year, if I take radio, television, and concerts around the world, I did exactly 364 appearances. So I really, my career is literally like an adventure, and I have a new book coming out. By the way, if you guys would like,
we want to ask you about the book.
In about 2.5 weeks. Can I send the book? I'll send the book.
I would love to have the book.
Maybe we can discuss
Kreskin in real time, right?
Dealing with. Yeah, it's going to deal with things that I believe. I'm not a fortune teller. I'm a thought reader, but traveling as much. I'm 5.5 different years in Saudi Arabia. So I'm writing about what I think is going to happen around the world in the next 10, 20, 50, 100 years.
Oh my.
So how do you do that if you're a thought reader? If you're a thought reader, how do you know the future?
Well, I spend my time reading people's thoughts and I think as time has gone on, I've gotten an intuition of the direction our culture is going into. By the way, everybody's asked. I might as well give you the answer I gave because I've been asked on two.
Is this about the lottery thing?
Show. No, this is about the
president?
Our debt that we're in. And
the debt.
They asked me, the lottery. Oh, no. Can you imagine?
I'm trying to predict what people are asking you about.
You don't say, Robin, you don't think that Larry would be intrusive enough to ask me the numbers?
No, I don't want to know the numbers. I don't want to know the numbers.
I do not know.
No, my specific question is, am I going to win? My question is, am I going to win?
He's got scruples.
My question isn't, I don't want to know the numbers. Yes. Oh, he said yes.
Larry,
yes.
Larry, what in God's name are you going to do with your life if you win all that money?
You know, that is a good question because I don't really know. I don't really know.
First of all, Larry,
can I tell you?
First of all, the reason.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. The reason there's been so many men, it's been well researched. There's been so many tragedies, disasters. People have won large amounts of money.
I know.
Think this, folks. Think this listening in. If you won a staggering amount of money from that day on, how would you ever trust any new person you ever met the rest of your life? You could never, ever again, to the day you die, trust a new person because you would not know what agenda they may have. There are people whose full-time jobs are, in this country, going after people who've won all kinds of things. They do that for full time. They befriend them. They call on the phone.
Kreskin.
So, and by the way, if you do win, you'll be getting a call from me, and I'll. We'll discuss.
All right, Kreskin, I want to tell you something on a serious note.
Robin, can I say something, Rob? He's bringing out a side of me that I find this absolutely refreshing. I think it's. How many hours are you on with him every day, Robin?
5.
5.
5 hours a day?
I'm on with her the same amount of time.
5 hours
well,
here,
Robin,
and then we work together in our other jobs. So we're pretty much together.
When you approach years from now St. Peter and he asks your background and you say you worked with him, he says you're welcome in heaven. You've paid your purgatory already.
I've been purgatory.
Can I tell you something? If we can't, in this day and age, if we can't laugh at ourselves, so they asked me on these economic shows.
Right.
You got this terrible.
How did they get a word in? How did they ask you anything? That's what I want to know.
Oh, I wouldn't say anything. No, they say we see pictures of yes. I've been with Hillary Clinton and Governor Christie and all these people because I perform a lot in Washington D.C. and I'm in New Jersey where of course Christie's government. They said, who do you think? Who would you say of all the people that you've been around with in Congress and the Senate could pull us out of this debt? And the answer is very, very simple. No, my feeling is not one single one of them will ever be able to pull us out of this. I think we need somebody. And listen, I know there's a lot of pictures of me with Trump and all that, but that's because I performed at his house and all that jazz. I'm not endorsing anybody, but I think it needs somebody. We need somebody outside of our government because our government does not reflect us anymore. Who would have dreamt today that in Congress right now, 45% of the members of Congress are attorneys, and our founding fathers said they were supposed to be people from all walks of life.
That's
They're
right.
not representing
That's right.
America.
Very political.
Exactly.
All right, let me tell you.
And by the way, Larry.
Yes.
Larry, I have nothing. I want to clear something.
I have lost all my interviewing skills. I don't have any skills anymore. Go ahead.
No, I just want to assure everyone, I have nothing against politicians. I just wish that most of them had been the Titanic.
There you go.
Mr. Amazing Kreskin, I want to tell you something. This isn't really a question. It's just a comment. I have always been fascinated, first of all, by you, because you're probably the first one I ever saw do this. And I won't go into details, but when I was like 19 years old, I met a psychic, and he really told me some pretty amazing things. I'm 61 now, so
Right, Larry.
okay.
Right, Larry.
So when I watch people who do what you do, I never know. Is it a trick? Is it a real skill? And yet in interviews I've seen of you, it almost sounds like you're saying it's half and half. So my question is that accurate?
No.
Or is it all?
But
or can you not tell me?
No. I don't consider myself a psychic. I feel I have an ability that I'll tell you very quickly when it started. When I was 9 years old, I'm in third grade, and it's raining outside. And Miss Curtis said, "Well, I'm going to teach you folks a game." So she sends a gal out. One of my classmates was Jane Hamilton. And she's outside the room, and we'll put this beanbag in someone's desk. So it was a small cloth beanbag. Brings Jane in, and she says, "Jane, walk around. We'll play a game. When you're near it, we'll say you're getting warm. When you're not near it, you're cold. If you're real close, a game of hot and cold." I was so disappointed I wasn't picked. I wanted to play this game. So I go home. My brother's 3 years younger. My grandparents on my mother's side were from Sicily, and my mother's shopping. So we walk over to Grandma and Grandpa's house. So help me God, I give my brother a penny or a nickel. I said, "Go upstairs and hide my penny." And they rented the downstairs. That's the way they made ends meet. So my brother calls me. I walk up the steps through my grandparents' kitchen, an old-fashioned kitchen. My grandmother's sitting there wondering what the hell's going on. I slowly walk into my uncle's bedroom. He's at work. Climb on a chair and find myself reaching behind a curtain rod, and suddenly felt the penny.
That's awesome.
And then it dawned on me. I never asked him anything, and that was the beginning. And I will tell you, my teachers in grade school, I was performing, doing 2-hour concerts, public shows when I was 14 years old. But I will tell you what's in every show I'll be doing in the near future in Florida and everywhere around the world. At a certain point, Larry, in my program, I will get a committee of strangers from the audience. Colleges, I've done over 1,000 in this country and Canada, so we get about 6 people or so. I give them my check for the show. I then leave, and 2 of the committee escorts me out of the theater or out of the building or out of the banquet hall, wherever I'm performing. And the committee on stage hides my check anywhere in the entire theater auditorium. When they've done so, I'm brought back in. They're on the stage. I ask no questions, nothing. They just concentrate on what they've done. I'll tell you something, Larry and Robin. If I don't find my fee, I do not get paid.
Yeah, I've heard this.
I return my entire fee to the committee, to the organization of book me. I don't get paid. And if anyone thinks this is a gimmick or some magic trick or what have you, now I have failed 9 times. You can say that's not many out of 6,000.
Yeah, right.
Hell,
right.
in New Zealand, I lost at a Coliseum in one night. I lost in one night $51,000.
Oh,
exactly
wow.
what I lost.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Did they ever tell you where they hid it? Did they ever tell you where it was?
Yeah, it was in someone's person, what have you. University of Illinois, and I do a lot of colleges. I come back in the gymnasium. It's about 8,000 people. It's a family weekend, so the place is packed. You can hardly walk. I walk down on the tarp. There's people sitting in chairs there. There's people in bleachers.
Right.
I come up to this elderly man. I have him stand. I said, "Open your mouth." I felt like a jerk. There was no check. I felt stupid. I said, "Sir, I'm sorry." I walked 10 feet away, and I'll tell you something, Larry and Robin, something in my mind tells me to come back to him. I come back to him. I had him stand. I said, "Sir, if I embarrass you, sit down. I apologize now. Would you open your mouth again?" He does. I said, "Does this have to do with the roof of your mouth?" Robin and Larry, he reaches in his mouth, takes up his upper plate, out of his upper plate, and hands me my check.
That is nasty. That is nasty.
Gee.
That's amazing, but nasty.
So everywhere around... everywhere around the world. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if either of you had to be paid each week? You had to find your fee before you got paid.
I know it is hard sometimes. But
I couldn't do it.
But let me ask you this:
we don't get paid
so
anyway,
in order for you to do what you do, somebody has to already know where it is. For example,
that's right. Yes.
For example, I give you something I compare it to. I worked with people who have dementia, Alzheimer's, and one time I was asking them if they knew where this was, and I held up a picture of the Empire State Building, and they all lit up because they all knew where it was. Mm-hmm. And I thought, wow, if it's in your brain, you can access it. But of course, if it's in my brain, maybe you can access it. But so if I don't know where I
perfect example that I couldn't do it. Perfect example is at Riviera in Vegas. I said 2 names. This guy stands up in the audience. I said, "What are they?" He says, "Kreskin, we don't live here. I forget, we're in the country. There are 2 pet dogs." I said to him, "Did you say to your wife, I wonder if Kreskin can tell me my Army number?" You'd have to have been there. He slams his fist down on the table, nightclub table. He says, "Damn it!" He says, "That's when we were eating at another hotel casino." He said, "It wasn't even here when I said that to her." I said, "Who knows it?" He said, "I don't know if I've ever told." Most military people, man or woman, never tell anybody they're serious. They forget about it.
Right.
I said, "I want you to think about it." And 2 minutes later, I gave him every single digit of his Army number, and he was in World War II.
Oh, really?
But he had to, Larry. He had to know the numbers in his mind.
Do you have to know it?
Never have done it.
Do you have to be in the same room, or could you do it over the phone? Could I?
Yeah. You can't. I've got to be in their presence and what. Oh, I've had the wildest things happen. And by the way, on the other side of the coin, and I don't belabor this much. If you ever see me on camera pull my ear, and I don't do this in my performances, it's not a nervous habit. I'm telling the director, the camera people, you better get your cameras ready to move. This person has something in mind that should not be made public, and I have uncovered a couple of potential suicides that people were thinking about. I don't mention just to an audience. This is not something I brag about.
Really?
But it's obviously it was on their mind, and they, I got to tell you, when my book comes out, and I'm not joking, I'm going to send you a copy.
The book,
it's a hardback one, so if you don't want to read it, you can use it as a doorstop.
No, let's be fair to the book. Kreskin, you've been wonderful, but we've almost out of time. The book is called what? What's the title?
Listen, I want to and by the way, I just want to say this to all you folks, to both of you. I spent all this. I like you guys. I want to come back on. The book is called In Real Time. It's out in about 2.5 weeks. When it's out, I'll send it to you, and we're going to discuss some predictions. Not some predictions, Robin. Not some predictions in Larry's life. I don't want to get in trouble, but we'll discuss. We'll discuss. You know, Larry and Robin. If we can't laugh at ourselves in this day and age with all this politically correct crap. then life is not worth it. We got to be able to
That's
laugh.
right. Do your friends call you?
I promise you.
Do your friends call you
They
Kreskin?
call me Kreskin.
Oh, they do. Okay.
I'll tell you.
Did you help those two people that you had that
Yes.
you felt their suicide
Yes.
thoughts? Did you help them live?
Let me tell you. In the case of one, which was a nightclub in Indianapolis, I said the show went over. I said to the producer, the person who managed the nightclub, I said, get that lady backstage. He said, something's wrong. And I said, let me talk to her. Get a priest. Turns out she was thinking of suicide, and we got to talking. The manager of the nightclub brought his wife in, and the priest says, I said, will you see, I don't know what your religion is, would you see Father so-and-so? I'm leaving here, but for the next week or so. So she saw him for 2 weeks. 8 years later, this is Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm performing here in New Jersey, in Morristown, New Jersey, doing a fundraiser on a Sunday morning. After the show, a lady rushes forward and throws her arms around. It was the gal that planned suicide 8 years earlier in Indianapolis.
Wow.
So, my life is, my life's been a, but we will talk, and listen, we'll get some interesting.
And you're coming back here, right? You're going to come into, you said you're coming into the studio, right? Okay.
Well, I don't. If the book it comes out in 2.5 weeks, we'll get the book to you and we'll talk about it on the phone. Okay.
All right.
Then when I'm in Florida, I'll come and see you. Now,
that's what we want. Yeah.
Robin, I'm going to be wearing a bulletproof vest, Robin.
Okay.
Oh, don't say that.
That means they're earmuffs.
Kreskin, I've been a fan of yours forever. I want to say that. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be able to have had this opportunity, even though I didn't get 2 words in.
No.
Kreskin in real time.
Larry and Robin, can I say this in the spirit of broadcast?
8 seconds.
I can say goodbye. To be continued.
To be continued. AmazingKreskin.com is the website.
Thanks, Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. President Obama visiting Nebraska and Louisiana the day after his final State of the Union message, where he laid out his vision for generations to come. In addition to touting progress on the economy, the president
touched on gun control and climate change, and he talked terrorism, downplaying the threat of ISIS.
Over-the-top claims